Hey folks, good evening and welcome to this video. Firstly, sorry that we could not do more of these videos more frequently. I was checking the last one that we did was in August, the end of August actually. So this is the first one we've done since then. So a long time. Sorry about that. We'll try and catch up with some of the challenges that we've done, which are not here. So those are like Canva and Product Hunt and a couple of others, and some which are pending since earlier, right? Anyway, for today's video, we'll try to do these three challenges on UPI, Cityflo, and Wikipedia. And in about 20, 25, 30 minutes, I'll try to keep it brief. Also, welcome to a lot of you folks who are new to UXAC, new to Weekend Hackathons. Thanks for joining in and hope you like what you're seeing. Yeah. Also, people who will be seeing this record. Okay, let's start with UPI. So we're calling this UPI while the app is BHIM. The product actually is UPI circles. Though it's a feature within UPI, for us it's UPI circles that we were looking at, improving. And BHIM, I believe, is the only one which has launched. Google Pay did launch it. This is during the Global FinTech Summit that happens in India, in Mumbai. And that is when it was launched, but I think it was rolled back because I don't think it is live now. I'm not a GPay user, but the product page says that it will come soon. PhonePe also is yet to launch it. So Beam for all likes and purposes is the only one which has it. That's what I'm aware of. And yeah, so this is the product page, so to speak, which kind of identifies with what is a request that is going and looks very similar to some of the other request pages. But the main thing you need to understand is the product itself, right? So why is this a feature slash product important? UPI Circle is because it enables transactions for a set of users who are outside of UPI. So think of it like people who are above 60, like your parents or grandparents who want to get onto UPI but are scared in terms of using it. Likewise, I believe if you're 18 plus, I don't know what the restriction is. Suppose kids want to use UPI, they are not able to do so because they do not have a debit card and they do not have a bank account, right? So this enables expansion of UPI, the universe of UPI, and hence it's a very important product launch. It's not got the appreciation it deserves, but it is important, yet it is a little complicated. And hence, this important feature and the TG is very important to understand before you start improving design, right? So the TG for this feature is, the TG as in who's going to benefit, right? Also the TG who's going to create. The ones who are going to create this UPI circle, they know how to use UPI, right? But the guys who are going to get the request, which is this receive tab, for them it has to be very simple. While you've taken the use case of creation, it's very similar in terms of receiving also. So it's a complicated product because as you can see, what they've written, it's so difficult to understand for somebody who's not understood the product itself, what this without limit means, what is waiting for Virat means. Sorry for the name of Tendulkar and Kohli, but yeah, what do these mean, right? And till you don't read the product note, till you don't understand there are two types, it's near about impossible to understand what is happening, right? They've used the same structure, and I believe all the others will also. Like even Google Pay's product note was very confusing. Hence, maybe they rolled it back. I'll see if I can fetch that and share it on the group later. But yeah, so this is a complicated and a difficult product slash feature. Improving it is very important. As I said, the TG is a very large universe if it is easy to do. Otherwise, if it is complicated, then the same people who have not been or are not on UPI, especially people who are above 18, will not come, right? So the idea is to make it easier for grandparents or parents who are above 60 who don't want to use UPI for various reasons, fraud, etc., to give them some limited access to capital or cash, right? And the convenience of UPI, I don't need to stress in India, right? So this is the context, and we had some good submissions coming in. We had few submissions, but they were good submissions, right? And the folks who got what this feature is, were able to solve it easier. There were a few folks who did not, I believe, understand what it is, but I don't blame them because, as I said, it's a complicated feature. One thing before I, actually go into people who they are winning submissions, which you have already seen, but I'll just go through them. Is this created slash receive, right? This is the UPI app presently. A lot of you folks have actually created this window for receive. So you've shown this is as the active one. It's not your mistake. The design itself is so confusing. Very difficult to tell which is active, which is passive, which is inactive rather. But yeah, so this is the baseline. So obviously it's very easy to improve the baseline. And you're looking for people who understood the problem, right? So understanding what this without limit means and their design communicating. Okay, so we'll go to the winners. And this is from Jayesh. I think it's a fantastic submission. Not much change in the UI. Like you can see, it's almost the same UI, largely speaking, but cleans up all the elements which are wrong with what that page shows, right? So as you can see, the copy change is created by me, whereas here you have created receipt. Very, very, very lazy kind of UX copy here. But here is put in the effort. See, the main elements are the copy as well as the nudges, right? Those are what matter. The colors, etc. Yes, I mean there's a lot, but the overall BHIM app could make do with better colors. But anyway, so created by me, circles I am added to, right? I am added to as in somebody's pull me into their circle, right? Very, very clear, distinct copy, which is active, which is passive, very easy to differentiate, whereas here it's very difficult, right? So there are subtle things. Once you spend a little couple of minutes, you'll understand. And this is the most important part, right? Ask me every time and no limit. So what BHIM has done is called it without limit. It's not without limit, it is no limit, but you are asked for confirmation, like you put in your UPI pin every single time the person transacts, right? That third person transacts. That is what this means, right? And his design has brought it out beautifully. There are elements that could be done better. Obviously, you can keep doing better, but I mean, from this baseline, what Jayesh has brought in, I think it's fantastic what he's done, right? So this is one. The second was from Vasant. So this also we like. Obviously, I mean, when you compare the two, this looks not as great, but it solves a lot of the problems which the current design has, right? A lot of the elements are cleaner, better done up. But yeah, it still has that communication issue, right? While it does give this additional nudge of all payments require your approval, that actually is better than what exists, I think. But still, I mean, some elements could be better, hence second place versus first place. And there was an honorable mention. In fact, I originally liked this a lot, but there are a couple of issues with this. This does not solve the main problem of that without limit, what that actually means, right? So that copy is exactly the same. And also, if there are multiple requests that you've created or received, right, the same card structure repeats, right? So it takes up a lot of space. If it's just one, it's fine, right? So if somebody wants to maintain the same design style as the current BHIM app or / even Google Pay, Phone Pay, it'll look card styles, which have to be small cards, whereas this one completely changes that. It looks cleaner and it is more detailed. But yeah, I mean, it kind of puts all data up front. So in a way that did not cut it for us. So anyway, it was a great submission in general, but compared to the other two, slightly less, right? So this was on UPI. As I said, fantastic offering as a product if it's done well. Let's see what Google Pay finally comes up with. If it has already come up with, do let me know on our group, because I've not seen it. I've not seen the visuals of it. I've seen the original one which they did during the launch, but they were not good enough. And PhonePe also, I don't think has yet launched this, right? So this is with UPI. Another point that I wanted to share on UPI, yeah, the evaluation criteria. These were there on the group, but in case somebody is just watching the video and was not aware of the points on the group, just check these out later on. You can pause the video and have a look, right? Then coming to an interesting challenge, a challenge very interesting for me especially, and a lot of Mumbaikars, Thanekars, Borivlikars, whatever, people in this vicinity, and I'm sure Cityflo as a premium AC bus service for office goers, I think they will largely expand because the use case is similar. And Chalo is another product, right? Chalo shuttle. This is the universe. In fact, even Uber shuttles, right, is doing a lot of work on it. They are burning a lot of cash. I think they are still offering free rides. We did a challenge on Uber shuttle long back. But this is Cityflo. It's a small company. It was a small company. Now it's getting larger. And it's a fantastic app. So try that app just as a user, right? Forget about this specific page that we've asked you to improve. And there are reasons why it has issues. But the app, the way it has been designed, the cards, the icons, very, very neat, very, very well thought out app, right? You can also check Chalo just for reference, and you can compare the UI at least. UX also, I think UI, UX of both the apps, you'll see there's a vast difference between them. But speaking of Chalo, for those who are aware, Chalo's full route, I mean, this is the actual challenge, right? That is way better than theirs, right? And there's a very, very clear reason. And this is the third point that I mentioned here. A user, when they're looking, and people who have done this, like who've booked office rides, not cabs, right? Office bus rides, they will know what I'm talking about, right? A user, when they're booking this ride, they want to know what the route looks like. So when I say looks like, so here you have, the bus where it's stopping. They mentioned it and they have photos, right? But you don't want to see all of them. I really don't care. This is my pickup stop. And I have a destination. Those are the only ones that I really care about. I don't care how the individual stops look like, right? But I do care what the route is, because in Mumbai, in fact, even any circular city, Mumbai is not that circular, but yeah, in any city, there are various ways you can reach your destination, right? So for example, this is Thane to BKC or Thane to Andheri, right? There are different ways you can go from the north, you can go from the south. And when I'm booking the ride, I need to be very clear how the route is going, right? So that I don't end up picking a route which is not what I wanted to do. While the source and the destination might be exactly the same, I want to know how they go, right? Within the city, how they go, because that helps me understand whether I'll be in traffic or not in traffic. Lots of consideration. And with office goers, both first time people who are going to use this app as well as people who use it regularly, this is important, right? Because that time is super critical. So if you get stuck when you take a route which goes by a longer path, you're going to be pissed off with the product, right? Even though the product, as in the bus, is not an issue, this design itself does create an issue, right? The rest of the app, as I said, is fantastic. Do try it out. But this particular section, somehow, I don't know. I mean, it just does not kind of give you the sense. When you see the winner, right? Some of you've already seen it. When you see the winning entry, you'll understand what I'm saying. But apart from that, I think it's a very important app, or the set of apps which I mentioned. Cityflo shuttle has already been bought by Chalo. Cityflo, this, I don't know in other metros what is being used. I don't know if Bangalore has one. Uber shuttle. It's very important public/office transport digital infra that is being created. And I think the more and more we get access to information. Earlier it was just a bus would come, Infi buses for example, right? TCS buses. They come at a certain time, everybody knows, they get in and then they go away, right? But now people want to know where they are, they want to track, they want to book at different times, right? Even for airport shuttles, this is going to evolve, right? And there are jobs in this, so obviously it's very important, and it's a nice segment. Logistics in general, I mean, I'm calling it logistics, but logistics transport is an interesting segment to work in as a design. So it's very important as a product to know, and as I said, very well designed product. Okay, now let's go to the actual winning entry, and you'll see what I mean when I say the third one. I want to know where the route is. So this is from Ritik. I think fantastic work. I think Ritik is from Mumbai, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Ritik is from Mumbai. So first of all, he has a context of what Cityflo is. I'm assuming he's already used the product. So there is an advantage for somebody who's used the product as a day-to-day use case, because they know that this is a pain point, right? As you can see, what he's done, obviously the names of the stops have been changed, but you can see the route, right? This is literally like when you're booking your Uber, you have the whole map view, right? It doesn't say that from X to Y and then this tells the names of the place. It shows where it is, and they have the power to do that. So Cityflo has that, but that is available once the bus ride starts. So I'm talking about pre-booking. Pre-booking, I'd love to see the map, and that is what he's done. Now there are two ways of doing this, three ways of doing this. I'll show some other examples also where they've used the map, but it's not come out as well. So one is you can superimpose all the information onto a map, right? Which is decent, but then you take away all those photos, timings, and lots of other elements. You can check Chalo for that. There they've tried to superimpose. It looks better than what these guys have, but it is not ideal. This is the ideal scenario where I have a half view of the map so that I see the route, as well as a half view of, obviously you have to, do the usability test well in here in this, but also the destination start and the destination along with the stops in the middle. Also, one more optimization that I noticed that he's done is that he's aggregated stops which are together, right? So these are areas, right? Nerul is an area. Belapur is an area. It's not a stop, it's an area. So that also helps, because I don't really care whether within Belapur, which is stop X, Y, Z, PQR. I don't care unless I'm getting in or getting out at a stop. So that's another optimization. Timing is added right next to it, very easy to read. And overall, it's come out very, very beautifully. It looks like a solid page. It almost looks like a Uber page that is in a Cityflo app, right? So fantastic work, Ritik. Really liked it. I mean, the minute I saw it, I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. Also, the aggregation of information up top. So if you just compare, there's nothing here, right? I mean, I see this full route. I have to close this, go back, reference, and then come back, right? So I have to keep doing this. Here I can see all the information. And remember, this is the same size of screen. Here the information, I don't know. This is far, far more useful, right? So this is from Ritik. Congrats. He was the winner. And we had a lot of, so we have winner, runner-up, and a lot of honorable mentions. So I'll quickly cycle to the rest of them. But this is a second. And Shrija, I think fantastic work in terms of how the structuring of the elements is. I don't know if it solves the main problem, because I mean, if you see the larger structure is exactly the same. But a couple of things that I really like. The first is the way the time has come out. The minute I saw the screen the first time, I was like, my natural line of sight went from stop name, time, which is not the case. I mean, now that you look at it, it seems obvious. But if you see here, it's not there. It's just not there. That information is not there at all. I would like to know what time the stop comes. Obviously, I'd like to know for mine and the end stop, which is there at the top as well. But this just looks like a solid unit that is being placed there, right? When you compare, others also have put times, but they put time first. Very small consideration. Remember, when you're thinking of a space, you think of the name of the place and then the time. You don't think time and then place. Like, that's not how it works, right? You want to know where the place is and then which place it is and then what time it comes. So good thought, very well thought out, right? may have come naturally to you, but it's not come naturally to others. That's why I'm highlighting it out, right? And the other elements also are very well done. But yeah, as I said, I'm slightly biased towards the map. As you can compare with Ritik's, the map kind of gives you a lot more information in terms of where you're going, right? And that is more so for use cases where there are multiple routes, which is the case for almost all intra-city rides, right? So fantastic work, second place. And now I'll quickly cycle through the others. I'll see if there are highlight points that I can mention, but I'll just quickly cycle through. So this was one from Sandeep. I think the UI is nicely done. Whether it solves the problem or not, I don't think so. As I said, timeline. So time on the left, then the name on the right. That is not how a person thinks. While intuitively it looks nice because timeline is top to bottom and that is what we are used to. But I think the way people look at stops is the stop and the time. That is the, and again, each one has their own subjective view of this, but I feel the stop first and then the time makes better sense as a structure. But a couple of things that he's done well are these ones, right? Change, pick up, change stop. And I think this is on the ride, when the person is already booked the ride. So those hints are also or CTAs are useful as well. So this one, Sandeep, nice UI, but in terms of actually solving the problem, I don't think it truly does, right? As I mentioned. This is an interesting submission. UI is not that fantastic, but a couple of points that I like, aggregation of stops. So only shows the start point of the bus. So the bus might start at a totally different point and I'm getting in at a different point. So start point of the bus and the time, my stop and the preceding one, my stop in the next one and the destination. So lots of thought, good thought that you've put in. This is from Saurabh. The thought is very well, put in. But yeah, in terms of whether it makes the screen less cluttered, I don't think so. It adds a lot more information. It could be, reduced a bit and still you could bring this effectiveness out. Maybe the colors is something that you could tone, like these greens, they look active. They're not tappable. Maybe that could be toned out. But anyway, I'm just picking holes here because that's my job. But yeah, I think I like the idea of aggregation as well as, showing intermediate, starting, ending, and my stops, right? So good work there. Then is, yeah, so this is what I said, right? There are ways in which you can do that map, overlay, and the stop. So the idea is right, but the execution is not as good as the winner, right? You can compare this with the winner later on the website also. But, the thought is spot on, right? And this is on right. So I don't know how it will work so the same full route is to be used on ride as well as when you're pre-booking, right? That time, how will this look? Because it's pick up in 3 minutes, not there. So this may not be there. The bus may not be there. Lots of things to think about. And the first submission is exactly similar in terms of the concept. But as you can see, the way the execution is very, very different. But good work. This is from Sindhura. Then this is also good work from Vikas. Good to see Vikas is participating. So he's been participating for a long time with us. I guess he liked the challenge. The concept was a challenge because, as I said, public infrastructure, bus infrastructure, transportation, some people really like that. I believe Vikas also does. So again, lots of elements that he's tried to improve. Timing he's added. Then the overall trip summary is added. That's why he's one of the honorable mention. Again, the map not being there is, again, a slight niggle. But yeah, much better than what exists on Cityflo. In the next one, I think there's one more here. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. We had 4, 5, 6. Yeah, total 6 we had. So this was a challenge on Cityflo. I think it's a fantastic product in terms of just its UI. Do go out and check it out. Do check out Chalo as well. If you're interested in this space, as I said, there'll be expansion here. There might be a few setbacks, but it's a space that's growing because the public infrastructure that we have, public transport that we have in cities especially is not growing, is not improving. It's going south, in fact, right? No matter how many metros, no matter how many roads you add, people prefer these premium buses because they're far, far more comfortable. So I'm sure there'll be more players, or the players that exist, like a Cityflo, will expand to other cities, right? So it's a good space to look at. And in general, it's a good app to check out in terms of design cues and design elements, right? Apart from obviously this specific screen. Okay, evaluation criteria are on your screen. Last is Wikipedia. So give me a little rope here. Wikipedia we did, I think, in August 10. So I may not have a 100% recollection of all the elements that were there in the winning entries, but I do have a very clear, recollection of what are the challenges or what are the issues with Wikipedia. So what Wikipedia does is that every end of every year, I believe, their year, whatever is their criteria of a year, they have this donation drive that they do, right? I think it's every quarter or something, or every half yearly they do it. And you will be amazed that there is actually a whole, I'll share that link with you. There's a whole set of options that are given to the community. And then this screen comes up that, this is how we are going to go about it. If I'm not mistaken, That's how it comes through, right? There, and every year they have a different one. I think the last year it was red. Previously, it was something else. I just have one chat. Just hold on. Let's see if somebody's saying something. Hi Akash, what about product and Canva? Yeah, I mentioned earlier. So we'll pick that up later on when time permits, right? So right now we are doing these. We'll pick those up later. Okay. Yeah, continuing with Wikipedia. So yeah, this is this donation page that they have or a section that they have. And the problem with that page is that it looks like spam, right? And remember, Wikipedia is now an archive kind of property. I think a lot of Gen Z people will not even know what Wikipedia is. They just know Wikipedia as a reference source in the AI generated chat or a Google answer, right? It comes at the bottom. Very few people might be actually those who are, like people like us, our generation definitely do check out Wikipedia from time to time for reading the whole article. But now people don't. People just read the answer. So it's a property that really needs help in terms of overall design. You can check out their design also. It's not changed at all. In fact, there's this appearance tab section that they brought in, which has nothing. I mean, just a set of toggles and radio buttons. But when they do this, when they try to put this jarring kind of message, and the copy is so, I don't know what to call it apart from spam. I don't have a better word. It kind of puts you off. It just doesn't feel like Wikipedia. For whatever reason, maybe they have their own reasons. They want to keep their service going and costs are increasing, but it can be done better. And when you see the submission, there's some fantastic submissions. This channel had some really good quality submission. Very difficult to choose the winners, and they're very varied in terms of what people thought can be improved. But yes, it can be improved. 100% can be improved. Just a couple of points. Apart from the UI of this one particular screen, whenever this comes in again, as I said, every quarter or every 3-6 months it comes in. Do check out the flow as well. The flow, when I mean, is this the donation flow. Once you tap 25 or 50 or 100 and then select one of these options, see what happens, right? It is so complicated. You can take this as a case study. It will be a super case study to add to your portfolios if you're thinking of doing one, a hypothetical one of a real world product. Because the flow after this is so confusing and there are so many things one can do better. For reference, you can check out some of the other donation platforms. I cannot recall, but during COVID, there were some very good ones which had optimized the flow. In fact, the PM's own one, like you just have a UPI code and quickly do it. There was no concern about, you have to declare XYZ 15, 16 things. So why does Wikipedia need to get into all of that? If somebody wants to declare, they can have an option. Anyway, I'm going tangentially, but it's a good case study as a user experience flow to optimize and improve. And in fact, redesign of a Wikipedia could be a good case study as well. Sorry for that bothering in terms of distraction, but I feel a lot about. I feel very closely with associate very closely with Wikipedia because I've learned a lot from them. But when you see their state today, and you see that they don't have much value as they used to earlier, at least for us as end users, obviously as a repository they do. It kind of pains me. And when you see this page, it pains me even more. Okay, anyway, from here, we'll go to the actual winners and submission. I think this was the winner, Komal. And I think one thing you can see is that she's put in a lot of thought. Obviously, it's not a section. It's a complete panel that is coming, right? So the context to this is when you open an article or a page on Wikipedia, the section just comes up at the top, right? Whereas what she's done is put a complete first fold. She's put a fold which says, and I like the copy, the only ad you'll ever see here, support Wikipedia. It's so much better than what they have right now. If you can see, right? What not right now when they were running this. Wikipedia still won't be sold. I don't know. Anyway, even the panel on the right, she's done very nicely. Give once, monthly subscription. A lot of you have done this. That's why I was a little surprised why everybody has this. Maybe it's there on some other floors, or maybe this is a case study that has already been solved by other people. But a lot of you folks have put this give once monthly. Maybe you saw this already in some other places. But yeah, I did not see it. I just saw this give once wala, subscription wala dikha nahi. Anyway, so this was the winning entry. Fantastic work. Congratulations, Komal. Delayed congratulations, but yeah, congrats. This is the second one. I like this a lot. Just that it's a little cluttered, but the thought the person, this is Milind, has put into this is fantastic. I mean, just overall, and it maintains the overall structure, right? It's a panel that comes in. At the top you have a close already donated. Nice infographic, emoji / infographic, what do you want to call it, right? Solid submission from Milind. All these elements also have come out well. The copy that you put in, powering everything from your personal searches. Very well done, right? Fantastic work. I mean, when you compare this, only thing I would say is the color. It does not fit in with Wikipedia style. This green / aquamarine or whatever you want to call it. One small niggle, I would say. Nothing more. But yeah, great work. This is the second one, and I'll quickly cycle through the other ones, right? Abhyuday. Sorry for that name. I was not able to pronounce it right, I guess. good work. Just that these elements at the bottom, I think Nishita has for each of you mentioned those points on the group also, but I'll just re-stress this. Just this part, I mean, you just compare the size of the text is just too small, right? Because that is where the action is going to happen. I'm going to tap that. Should be slightly bigger. But the idea of putting it at the bottom and I'm assuming it's a tray that slides out, once you're scrolling, say 20, 30%, is fantastic. Well done. Then we don't know the name of the person. It was an ID. So book IB, I think good work, better than what exists. There could be more things that one could do. What I liked is that the default is donate by UPI, which I think is what is going to be the default for small value donations. Like that is like what we are used to, right? Good copy also. Just that the design could be slightly better and the finesse, like as you can see, this border here, you can see the black, but here you can't. That could have been slightly better. Yeah, picking holes, but because all the other submissions are also pretty good. Yeah, so this is what I said, right? A lot of different thoughts have gone into submissions. You saw some of them, right? Full page, just taking the whole property, just a panel, and this one, which is like a cartoon slash, actually trying to poke you and say, we can't let that happen. So somebody's showing the grave. Together, a small contribution can help. Very, very well done. But as I said, it is a design challenge. So obviously, while it tugs your heart a little bit, I think there are a few more things that one can do with it. Maybe on a second page or a third page. But this was about just one screen. So Kirti, nice work. Nice different thought process from everybody else. This again is a very different thought process. We thought that this was, I think Nishit thought that this was generated by AI. Whoever this is Krishna Shreya. Let us know, one-on-one you can tell us if this was generated by AI, largely because the elements that have come out, each of them is very, very different, right? So this is a rounded CTA, this is not a rounded one, this has some border radius. This is classic how Gen AI kind of creates screens and elements. Maybe it's not. If it's not, it's well thought out. The world and the globe at the background looks very, very, catchy, right? But how does the article then fit in is a big question mark to, bring in. Is it like because it's all black, whereas Wikipedia by default is, white, but eye-catching for sure, right? And if it is made by Gen AI, do let us know. We'd love to know how you made it. Then I think there's one more. That's pretty much, yeah, there's just one more. There are two more, sorry. This one is from Purva. Why it took time is this is a 3.5 MB image. So that's why it's taking long. I don't know why it's so large, Purva. Doesn't matter for the challenge, but it was pretty large image. That's why it was taking time to load. Good work. I think what it solves for is the main problem is that arrest attention while not looking spammy. Keep messaging is straightforward. This element could be slightly better, is what we feel, because these look like action buttons, and this is like an input button. These should look different, but they are exactly the same. But anyway, we are picking small elements because largely the other submissions are much better. That's the only reason. And this again is great. Only thing is, I would say the color, it looks a bit dull and just pulls because you need a little energy, right? I mean, Wikipedia is doing a full blown green. You come completely opposite and like a gray slash, I don't know, reddish gray. I think the color could be slightly better, but the other elements are well thought, right? Very well thought out. Look at the panel that has come on the right side. Nicely done. And also you've shown, and a couple of others have also shown, right? Your goal and where you land. So I think that pretty much sums it up for this discussion. I hope you liked all these challenges as well as the other ones that we put out. And as I said, thank you so much for taking part in them. We'd love to see more submissions. We had an average of hitting around 20, 25. Now we gone down to 10, 15. We'll see what more we can do, change, refresh the format. If you have some suggestions and ideas on how we can, improve the submission rate or get more people to submit, do let us know. I hope this session also helps, other people and new people who are joining in to see how the other submissions come out. That's pretty much it from my side. In case you have anything more that you want to ask basis this discussion, do share it on the group and we'll see you very soon. Tomorrow, tomorrow's Friday, we'll have a challenge. I don't exactly know which one because there are a couple that we are deciding and we'll see you there. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.